Good morning. Globally, markets and policymakers are weighing a mix of fragile geopolitics and accelerating technological change. On artificial intelligence and the tech economy, the Financial Times reports OpenAI's audited spending hit $34 billion last year as it scaled model development, infrastructure and expansion ahead of a planned IPO. That figure underlines how the AI race is increasingly a capital intensity contest, with compute, data centers and talent costs rising faster than revenues for many players. In adjacent tech news, the Financial Times says SpaceX has leapfrogged Amazon to become the world's fifth most valuable company, and has also announced a $60 billion deal for the AI coding app Cursor, signaling continued convergence between frontier AI, satellites and defense-adjacent capabilities. On the global economy, Al Jazeera reports Robinhood is cutting 10% of its workforce as part of a restructuring, a reminder that even firms tied to retail trading and market activity are still tightening operations. Turning to global conflict, the Middle East remains tense despite diplomatic movement. The BBC reports Tehran is selling its deal with the US as a victory, while many Iranians see it as a necessity to reduce prices and the risk of renewed war. The BBC also describes a fragile quiet in Lebanon, with unanswered questions about whether the US-Iran truce can translate into a durable reduction in Israel-Hezbollah fighting. Al Jazeera reports Israeli drone strikes killed 4 in southern Lebanon amid ceasefire talks, reinforcing how quickly the situation can deteriorate on the ground. In Europe, The Guardian's reporting suggests Vladimir Putin is becoming more isolated as Russia's war in Ukraine grinds on and domestic pressures rise, including tighter internet controls. Al Jazeera reports repairs are beginning at Kiev's 1,000-year-old Petchersk monastery after a Russian attack, highlighting ongoing damage to civilian and cultural sites. The BBC reports the UK is investigating claims a Russian warship fired warning shots near a yacht in the English Channel, adding to concerns about maritime incidents and escalation risk. Now to Australia. On the Australian economy and the public service environment, The Conversation reports the Reserve Bank has held interest rates steady, but is warning another hike remains possible if inflation stays high. The key takeaway for households and government agencies alike is that borrowing costs may stay restrictive for longer, and budget pressures will remain elevated. On Australian government policy, the Sydney Morning Herald reports a record $513 million funding package for elite sport is set to be unveiled ahead of the LA and Brisbane Olympics, locking in high-performance investment through to 2028. The paper also reports a $3.6 billion childcare pay deal will deliver a 15% pay rise for early educators over 2 years, staving off pay cuts, fee hikes and industrial action risk. In federal politics, ABC News reports Shadow Treasurer Tim Wilson holds undisclosed shares in climate advisory firm Gondwana Carbon through a family trust. The company works on carbon abatement projects and carbon credit trading. Expect questions today about disclosure, conflicts management, and the opposition's positioning on climate and markets. Locally, the immediate watch points are cost of living sensitivity as rates stay high, and political scrutiny around integrity and transparency as Parliament and agencies respond to disclosure expectations.